You gotta excuse me 1 minute, y'all. I hate cooking at this time of night. It is. You know what? I'm just have to fry this one up, but I have to clean up. Yeah, let's stay down a little bit. So yeah. I'm cooking. Hey, I see one person got up in here. Let's go here, y'all. Let's go here, y'all.
Until now, game changer. They have a wire trimming
I
head.
don't know why I'm in there. Let's do it this way, y'all. I got pictures in there. We could go to a photo. Okay. I am truly. I'm sorry, y'all. Hey, I see one person in there. How are you? I can't see nobody in the chat right now. Okay. But the thing I want to share with you here is about this GoFundMe. Look at this. I hate when my phone does this. This is not the best phone, y'all. Went from. Okay. So far, we just gonna reread this part of it. That's all we can do. Because I wanted, one of the first things I did is as soon as I heard about, this woman's death and everything, and I just feel that sometimes it's good to try to catch the enemy before they strike. Because if you notice that as soon as something tragic happens and it hits media and it gets out of, it go trending, stories like this that go trending, the first thing people start to do is hit up GoFundMe. And if you're not aware, you will be used and abused out here. People will take advantage of you, financially abuse you out here. So you got to be aware. Um, from my understanding, her daughter is the one who put up the GoFundMe and asking for support for her family because of her mother's death. And I'm like this. Whenever a person, I don't see what you're saying, Frankie. I can't see it. But what I'm saying is whenever something tragic like that happens on the job, your employer already insured you as an employee. Anything that takes place on your job, there is an employee. When you sign that insurance form, is all of that you sign when you start to work for a company. All of that is already in place, especially in McDonald's. I worked in McDonald's. I know what I'm talking about. Whether I was a part-time worker or whether I was a full-time worker. If anything, if I would have got killed and shot on the job at McDonald's on my duty at work, my job will cover my expenses for my burial because it happened in the workplace while I was at work, and it also happened right on their property. So they are responsible for my expenses. It's called a accidental death insurance policy. And we're going to look it up. We're going to look up an accidental death insurance policy. So I can educate people about this in the community or people out there in the public. Let's look up an accidental death insurance. Let's look it up, y'all. We're going to go Google it. We're going to Google it. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. See, this phone is not the best phone. That's why I should have done my live on the other phone. This phone right here is like not the best phone. Are y'all there? Are y'all there? I hope y'all there. I'm going on the other phone and talk about it. It's called the accidental death insurance policy. And even when you fly on the plane, you always insure, you want to take out insurance. When you buy your plane ticket, when you get on a bus, anything you're going to be traveling on, even when you do a car rental and all of that. Anytime you do a car rental, if you do a car rental, if you take a bus, if you take the plane, if you they always ask you to take out insurance. Because anything can happen up in the air. Anything can happen on the job. They already covered you as an employee. If anybody get, and that's by law. Let me look this up for y'all. Because a lot of people don't understand this. And I think people have been abusing this GoFundMe. Let's do accidental death insurance, okay? Accidental death insurance. Let's do an accidental death insurance. Coverage. Okay, let's go to coverage. Is that the right one I chose? Coverage. It benefits the amount all the way up to $1 million. Accidental insurance benefit amount up to 1 million. Okay, and the McDonald's is covered. Even if you hurt yourself, it's accidental death and dismemberment insurance provides a financial benefit to beneficiaries if the insured person dies or suffers certain injuries due to an accident, unlike traditional life insurance. Only pays out in cases of accidental death or dismemberment, which includes loss of limbs, sight, hearing, or speech. AD&D policies often offer a lump sum payment to beneficiaries and can also provide benefits for dismember injuries, paying a percentage of the death benefit for the loss of a limb or other covered injury. Accidental death pays a benefit if the insured dies due to a covered accident. Accidental dismemberment, dismemberment benefits percentage exclusions. Policies usually have exclusions such as deaths or injuries resulting from illness, natural cause, self-inflicted injuries. See, they won't pay if it's self-inflicted. They don't pay out. But if it's not something, what happened to Jennifer was not self-inflicted. That was tragedy. That was an employee that she took upon herself to send home doing her job, if that's what she was doing, as the manager and everything. And she told this employee to go home because she was acting a little strange, or whatever was the situation was going on. The employee claimed that she was bullying her, but that still wasn't what people expect somebody to come back with a knife and stab you to death if you tell them to go home and whatever. But the girl was a mentally disturbed woman. It happened at work. They was out and she was on her job, on her shift. So to me, the family better off going for an accidental death insurance policy from their mother's job than getting on the little GoFundMe for $12,000. The accidental death insurance policy covers up to at least $1 million. Understand what I'm saying? And being that McDonald's is a franchise and it's a corporation, there's a lot of money in McDonald's. Okay? There's a lot of money in McDonald's, and all of that is already covered. As an employee, because anything can happen. People can come in there and rob the place. They got to cover the expenses of the loss. If the company get robbed, if somebody get killed in a robbery, all of that got to be covered. Even the bodies that may end up being hurt on the job or whatever. You are covered as you work on the job. So how in the hell they got a life insurance policy out? I mean, not a life insurance, a GoFundMe out there. There is an AD&D coverage. Whenever you go to work, I challenge you, go to your job and ask them. They may not want to tell you. You know what I'm saying? They don't really like to tell you that because companies don't really like to pay out. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why this family, that's why I was making noise all over YouTube and putting it on social media, how this family need to go and, hit McDonald's, the owner of the store. All of that is already, and he came out with a public statement that violence should never be tolerated. He came out with a statement and everything about what happened. I went over some things. I put it out there in the public. So the family needs to go and take it. The first thing they want to run and do is go get a $12,000 just to bury her mom. What about all the other living expenses you're going to need for the younger children that might be one of her kids? May she been probably had plans for them to go to college, paying helping them go to school. There was her oldest is 20 years old. And there was another one that was probably behind that one, probably about in the teens or maybe, mid teens or whatever. And the youngest, I think, was 5. The youngest she had is 5 years old. So why y'all hitting up on GoFundMe? GoFundMe is a cheap way. And then guess what? The employer, guess what they did? They opened up on Saturday. This woman was stabbed to death on her job on Thursday, and they opened up on a Saturday. Instead of at least allowing people to get through the trauma, those who showed up at work that day and probably had to experience this woman being, you know, butchered to death. You know how traumatizing that is? What about their mental health? You understand? Like, trauma. That McDonald's should have been closed for at least a couple of weeks before people came back to work. Because I know I wouldn't be feeling right going back in there after I done seen somebody get, butchered in a fast food place. I don't think I would be wanting to be in there. After that, I'd be traumatized. Just like what happened to those people at the cookout restaurant when that lady was shot to death up in that place. You know what kind of trauma that is for people to go back to work right after somebody being gunned down inside of a work in the workplace. You just can't function right like that. That's trauma. Every time you turn around, you're going to be feeling kind of paranoid and afraid something is going to happen to you. Even around the workplace, it's so hostile. What about, getting people some mental health treatment to get them past all of what they just experienced that morning and coming in, seeing their manager, seeing the girl came in with a knife and everything else like that. That is traumatic. And then they said they will be back open on Saturday. Hell to the motherfucking no. They more care about profits than they care about people's lives. Ain't no way y'all should be open back on a Saturday. And it happened on a Thursday. And the first thing this family here is doing, I understand y'all want to get your loved one buried, but McDonald's should have been pushing that money to the funeral home. Whatever that needs to be taken care of for the life of your mother, McDonald's should have been the one, splitting the bill. They should have been making sure that family was taken care of. Words, don't give me your empty words. What are you gonna do? My mother was killed in your place of your business. And nobody was there but her to cover her. And she was alone. So ain't no way in the world that you should be having your kids having this business back open on a Saturday when this woman was butchered to death down on a doggone Thursday. And not only just that, the workers who's dealing with trauma right now. I try to tell my people, y'all better know what's right for y'all. And see, that's why they like to hire them foreigners. That's why they like to hire all these undocumented immigrants so they could take advantage. But when you an American citizen, know you'll take advantage of your rights. Trust me. And probably doing it just because it's probably mostly only black people that work there. And they're afraid to speak up. They'd rather go somewhere and vent and complain than to direct the issue, address the issue. You got to fight. And if you don't in America, people will take advantage of you. Whether you get what you want or whether you're not, you have to speak up. You have to use your voice. You got to know how to use your voice. I'm trying to bring awareness. That's not my mother that was butchered out there in no McDonald's. My mother died of her natural causes. My mother died nicely and peacefully in her hospital bed. Okay? No trauma. No violent, whatever death. Both my parents. But, they buried nice and peacefully, and the military took very good care of both my parents being laid to rest. And of course, with my mother, her children laid to the rest very nicely. My father, the military, took care of his expenses, but for my mother and everything, they gave her a plot with her husband, and then on top of that, her children laid to the rest very peacefully. Okay? We didn't have to go on GoFundMe, asking for money, begging the public to help us bury our parents. And that's what people need to understand, how to take care of these type of things. When you start having children, you should already have an insurance policy in place. Now, I understand people do go through some hardship. That happens. That happens. But back in the days, we didn't have GoFundMe. Okay? We had the community, maybe the church and the people that came and gave whatever they can to help with burial expenses and everything. We did what we had to do. We bought life insurance policies for our loved ones, and we sacrificed. And we made sure that $5, those $2, or whatever that policy was, the amount on that policy was getting paid. No matter how hard times things got, we kept the life insurance policy for our loved ones. That's how it was back in the days. These young people don't do that no more. They just want to bury you and get on GoFundMe, and then the next thing you know, they want to go live off of blood money. They want to go live the lifestyle, probably buy a car or buy a business or whatever they can get, like a hair braiding store or maybe a food business. No, they don't put their money in anything that has any value. Something that's going to be longevity, that they're going to build generational wealth with. They're going to put their money in something that got holes in it, depreciating assets. Or probably go get themselves a BBL, or go get some cosmetic work done to their bodies, or whatever. Or get a hair weave. Those are the things that we need to get away from. And when you got a child and you brought your children in the world or whatever, the most important thing, you should get a Gerber, a trust fund made up, or something. So just in case that child grows up, want to go to school, want to go to college, you got to start thinking about longevity. You got to think about the future for your children. Don't just think about what you got in front of you right now. You got to think about longevity. And sometimes people don't have that life goal in front of them. They don't think like that. We don't think like that. Well, I wouldn't say we, because my family thought like that. I hate that. I'm being honest. We were poor, we were struggling, but one thing my mother always thought about was our future. Okay? She came up from the South. And those were the things we got away from. My mother came from the South. And those Southerners back then, oh God, People just kill me when they want to call you. When you on the phone talking, that's when people decide they want to call your phone. Any other time they don't call you. But I'm just saying that people need to start thinking more about things longevity. And these children, for that 12 little measly $1,000, ain't gonna do nothing for no funeral. That's only just enough just to put her in the casket and put her in the grave. That's if that's who put the GoFundMe up. That's if that's was the children that did it. See, sometimes you got to catch fraud out there too, because there's just some people that's putting out. It could be a family member that's doing it, and then there's a family member. It says $12,033 raised. What is $12,000 gonna do? That's 86% of it. They should be going for bigger money than that. For the rest of those kids to have their lifetime goals, to go complete college and go to school and invest in a future, that she probably had plans for those children for the future to be working for 15 years at McDonald's and being a manager, and then for this tragedy to take place in her life. This ain't something she woke up on a Thursday morning to go and think she was never going to see her children again. I don't think that was her plan. But it happened, and it was a tragedy, and it happened right there at McDonald's. So McDonald's is accountable to pay, and this is something I put out there. I put this out there for people to notice this stuff. You know, it says it right here. I said it. I said let's talk about it. Okay. I said let's talk about it because this needs to be said. She definitely had to have insurance. I mean, come on, you're 39 years old, you got 6 kids, you working in a fast food place, you've been there for 15 years, you a manager. You got money built up and invested in that company. So yes, your children should be well cared for. If anything happened to you on the job, yes, your job should be covering the expenses. So how the hell are people going on GoFundMe? And it says, let's talk about it because this needs to be said. I'm not trying to be mean, but we've got to start being more honest about how GoFundMe is being used. Too many people are taking advantage of the platform. And it's becoming a trend that takes away from those truly in need. GoFundMe was meant for emergencies and genuine hardship, not to cover for responsibilities that should be handled by the employer's insurance or capable family members. In the case of Jennifer, she was a McDonald's employee for 15 years in McDonald's, specifically the franchise owned by Yusuf Alltree, Allgreen, or whatever his name was. I got his name when they was reporting it on the news, and he sent out a statement. He was the local owner of that store, of that McDonald's. So he's responsible. See, people don't be catching on to that. They don't go in the store and look at who's the owner. You can see they have the plat out there. Who's the owner? Who's the director? Who's the crew chief? They got who's the employees there. Like if you the crew chief there, who's the owner? Who's the crew chief? Who's the regional manager or whatever? Go look in your McDonald's and look on the wall, and they supposed to have a photo or a picture of who is who in that store. Even at the local, in your child care centers, there's a photo and there's something about your employee that they all hang up so you could get familiar. Name a face to the name. A face to the name. So you could get familiar with who's serving you in the community. And that happens even at the schools. You got a picture of the teacher, the secretary, this, the that. They got a picture of who's the principal of the school, who's the dean. Whenever you go inside a building that serve the community, even in the bank, and some small banks in the community, they got a picture of who's the CEO or whatever. All of that is in front of people. People don't pay attention to that. They just go in there and just putting their money. But I be looking for things like that. I look for, are you a creditor, accredited business? I'd be looking for all your credentials. You ever seen he's the best? This is the employee of the month. This is the employee of the week. You look at things like that. People don't do that though, especially in black folks. But we always the ones talking about injustice, how we being treated unfairly, how we're overlooked, how our voice ain't being heard, and all of the crimes that's happening against us, and all this that people doing to us, because we don't pay attention to our lives. We don't pay attention to what's around us. We don't pay attention to what's available to us. We don't. We don't challenge it. We just silence it. We keep it among ourselves. But every other group that comes to America, they know these opportunities. And Trump is giving you an opportunity now. He's moving them out the way so you can move in that direction. Fear no evil. Fret not yourself because of evil do. You should not fear no evil. You should learn how to take better care of your community. You should be able to know how to challenge certain things that are available to you in your community. But we don't do that. Too busy smoking weed, getting high, and fucking, and having babies that we can't afford to take care of. It's a whole lot of stuff that's happening to us is because we doing it to ourselves. How the hell you laying on your ass having 6 babies and you not married? I'm not gonna judge now. I ain't gonna judge. I don't know. She might have been married because the girl said the daddy in jail. I don't know what he in jail for. That hasn't been revealed. But, the court date is coming up. So we're going to get to know about a lot of things, as things start to unfold. Right now, we got to respect the deceased and we got to respect the deceased loved ones that are grieving. We got to respect the family that's grieving right now. And it's kind of hard because there's a whole lot of stuff I want to say, but it's kind of hard. But anyway, I just wanted to just come and talk about this. I really wanted to just talk about the GoFundMe. I wanted to do one for my niece when my niece passed away. But since her children were acting all fucked up, and then on top of that, since everybody was acting all fucked up, I just let it go down the way it went down. What I was going to do is I was going to get the GoFundMe so that my niece's body could have been, you know, um, moved to New York, and she could have been buried up in New York by her mother, and not down in North Carolina. But we would have been able to get the body from New York from North Carolina to New York, so she could have been buried and laid down, and the family could have been there to celebrate her life. But because of the fact that her mother was up there acting crazy, not her mother, but her father. Her mother, I was trying to get things together, my cousin together. First, we were trying to find out about the insurance policy. And when I called her daughter started acting up and cursing and carrying on. So you know what I said? I said, look, I can't travel. I got to go back to work. So at that time, I was just getting back on my feet again, going back to work from another job that I was off for the summer. I was off for the summer and I was just getting ready. And she died around early September, so school was about to start. So I wasn't able to be able to travel right then and there. But what I was going to do is I was going to try to get the body closer to the family, where the family all could have been there and, celebrate and had her laid to rest in New York with her mother. But now she's laid down in North Carolina because, see, when people start acting stupid and start acting ignorant and people don't have information that they can help you with, even though we couldn't find out that she had a policy, and then I didn't want to overdo the daughter, and I called her daughter up, and the daughter cursed me out on the phone and said all kind of crazy stuff to me. So I said, you know what, I'm going to leave this shit alone. I didn't want that drama, but I was going to do the GoFundMe and have my sister bury her child right where she was in New York. But since her granddaughter was carrying on like a fool, and so was my niece's father at the time, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it alone. Those are my sister kids, but they not my kids. So that's the way they want to lay their loved one down the rest and let them go right on. Because if it was my child would have been getting buried, and I would have, if I didn't have the money to move her body from North Carolina to where I'm at, I would have took that. I would have done the GoFundMe. Reached out to people that would have been able to send money and help me in a hard time like that. You know. And I had told my sister. I didn't tell her nothing after after that. I just kept that to myself, because then they be like, well, wow, you should have done it anyway. You should have, you could, then they mad at me. No, 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 go ahead, do you. Do you. You want to be disrespectful? Her daughter was being disrespectful. So your mom was all the way out there, buried in North Carolina, and you all the way out in New York. So you go do you. Even though my mother's in New York too. But I'm not that far to get to the cemetery if I want to go see my mother. Both my parents. So, and plus on top of that, my mother's whole family was there. Except her mother, because her mother couldn't come because her mother was too sickly. Because my mother did pass before her own mother passed away. But I'm just saying, before my grandmother passed away, my mother passed away in 2006. My grandmother passed away the following year in 2007. Around that February. My mother died in August and my grandmother died in February of 2007, a year later. So she passed away a year after her own daughter, her firstborn daughter, because my mother was the oldest. So my grandmother was in 2007. So I said to my niece and look, y'all going that crazy if y'all want to. My grandmother was in her 80s when she passed. She was 80 something years old. Yeah. So I told my niece and them, y'all go ahead and act crazy, because I got the information that we could get your mother out here and have a funeral and the family to support her and everything. But since y'all want to act like nutcases and y'all want to turn up and do the shit y'all doing, then hey, it's gonna go down the way it's gonna go down. Sometimes family could be very fucking disrespectful, but then they want you to go out of your way and break your neck to do shit for them. I ain't doing none of that. You disrespect me, you gonna stay right there and stay right in that fucking mess you in. Because I know loopholes. It's like I'm trying to help damn kids that I don't even goddamn know all the way in Detroit, Michigan, in Michigan. You know, they so fucking shallow. How the fuck you going for a damn GoFundMe instead of an accidental death and dismemberment insurance policy that the fucking job had for your dumb ass? And then on top of that, her getting killed and shot down and stabbed to death in front of the damn job. That's where the money at. And I'm talking about a couple of millions. Okay? If she got a house, pay her mortgage off for y'all have a house to live in. $12 ain't gonna do y'all no goddamn good just to put your mother in the damn grave. That's all y'all asking for. Her life is that cheap? That's all she meant to y'all? It may not even be the kids putting it up. Like I said, you got family members out here that be scheming, scamming. It could be another relative doing it. That's why I said it needs to be taken down. I went right to the damn GoFundMe thing and I said that GoFundMe needs to be taken down. And I gave them the reason. I said, no, I'm not a relative. I'm just bringing awareness. I said, because this is fraud. I said, because she was killed on such and such. You can go look it up in the newspaper and investigate that information. It happened right there on her job. And then she was there for 15 years. Why should she have to have a GoFundMe? They could get a whole lot of more money than a couple of $12,000. Trust me, I know these things. I worked at McDonald's. I ain't working no goddamn way. If anything happened to my ass, ain't gonna cover my ass, and I ain't gonna be worth no more than 12 fucking measly $1,000. That's gonna be left of my life. Because when I go on my job and everything, I always put down my beneficiary as my. I used to put down my mother. At my other one of my jobs, but after my mother passed away, I used my nephew. Now my nephew's dead and gone, so now I don't know who the fuck to use. I'm just gonna die and just let them bury me. That's it. I ain't sending no gun, giving nobody no nothing to fucking live on. Not even my own damn husband. Well, now he's my beneficiary if anything happens to me. But I'm just saying, as far as like when it was kids and all that other shit. But he doesn't know he's my beneficiary on the job. No, then again, he do know. And then again, he do know. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, like, these women out here and with kids and everything else like that, I keep telling people, at least until your children turn 18 years of age, have a fucking insurance policy for your fucking kids. To me, that's disgusting that all people want to do is run right to a damn platform and tell people about the death of their loved one, and you have to bury them, and you need money from the community to do that, and you need the public to do that. That's not good. When you have loved ones, you have loved ones. You think about your loved ones every day that they're here with you. You appreciate them. And appreciation shows in life insurance policy. A death, whatever you see your loved ones going through, you always make sure. I'm talking about people that's having a family. When you have a fucking family, when you got fucking kids, and you bring in a life into the world, you think about a life insurance policy. You invest in them. That's an investment. It's going to be used for their education. It could be used if God anything happens to you, that life can still go on. Your children won't be in begging for bread. It says in the Bible, it says fools store up for the wise, right? And it also says the righteous don't go forsaken and they see be begging bread. So when you bring in your children in the world and you blessing them, you want them to grow and flourish in the world. You want them to do great things in the world. And one thing you're going to do is invest in your children's life. And that's an insurance policy. You're just not going to just throw them out to the world and don't train them up and be nothing in the world. They just throw them out cast them out into the world. So that's why I had to have this conversation with you all today. Like it or don't like it. It doesn't matter to me. But I'm giving you some very useful information that you can pass on to your loved ones. You can sit down and talk to your loved ones about. Get into an insurance policy, especially when you're running around here, got family members having babies, or just a cute little baby. That baby going to have to grow up to be a human being one day. Got to grow up to be an adult one day. Got to grow up to be something in the world one day. You don't want it to turn out to be an Afeni, Muhammad. Go around to work and everything, mad out of your damn mind, and go stab somebody to death and spend the rest of their life in some mental hospital jail. They can't put her in population with people because she's not well. She has to go where she got to go in one of those places where, she's isolated in the mental hospital side. She got to go in the mental illness side. They can't put her in population. That woman ain't well. Well, there's so many bastards in the world, and I hate to say it like that, but it's just so many people came in this world without a plan. So clueless. They don't know their purpose. They just here. And it is what it is, y'all. It truly is what it is. But I know who I'm a child of. And I know who I belong to. I belong to the king. You know what I'm saying? That's why I am so rich with wisdom. Because when you belong to him, you're gonna have that type of wisdom. He pours it into you. You don't have to have the riches of the world, but you have the riches of godliness, the riches of the kingdom of God. And that's where your riches are stored in. That's where all your riches and glory should be stored in. When you spend time with God, he will show you things. He will pour out things to you. So you can be able to give that information out there in the world to others, to help other people. And that's exactly what I'm doing. God poured this into me. This ain't something I just knew on my own. This is what the Lord has given me. This is what he has done for me. Because I serve a good God. Like I said, you don't see the righteous go forsaken or his seed begging bread. And I'm out here trying to help these fools in the world who's running around here for chicken change when they could get the gusto. The gusto. So anyway, y'all, I'll probably come back with y'all again tomorrow. I doubt tomorrow because I gotta be to work at 9 o'clock on Tuesday, a whole day. I don't want them to wear me out. I told them, I said, look, I can't be doing these long hours like this. Sometimes these hours like this be killing me. That's why I went for the hours only for 12 to 6, because those other hours are just too long for me for the whole day. It's too long. I can't do a 9 in the morning to a 6 o'clock at night with children. That's too much hours for me. It's too strenuous. I get worn out. So anyway, because I'm older now, I'm 59 years old. Come on, I'll be 59, almost 60 years old. I can't be running around with all these little kids in the classroom and listening to them all day and screaming and crying and doing all that. I can't. It's just too much. I will snap. Even though these kids are good right now, but I'm just, I need that extra time and space for myself. So anyway, y'all, I gotta go. I love you guys. I hope you take this information and share it. Bring awareness to people out there. Don't get your heart played on. Don't let people take advantage of you. Don't let people play on your feelings and your way of wanting to give, because you know about children that lost their mother and people going to play on that. This is what I had said to y'all. Before I close, let me just share this part with you all, because a lot of people out here just don't know how this world is so wicked. You got to guard and protect your heart. Guard and protect your heart out here, because you got people out here that are vipers. They will play on you. They will do whatever. These employers going to get away with it because they don't want to pay out that money. But that's why they didn't say nothing. Let them go ahead and do a GoFundMe. But they don't want to pay out the money. And that's exactly why they doing it. They just letting them, the family, because I seen somebody made $1,000 donation. Who would make that kind of money? Okay. I mean, if people want to make donations, why don't you donate just in case this company don't want to pay your family the money? You could use that money for an attorney. Don't use the money for legal expenses. That's the way I look at it. Don't look at it as a way to bury your mother. You could probably put up something later on if you have to fight for some legal reasons. But don't use it for that. Let these motherfuckers see what they gonna offer your mother first. Shit. She been given 15 goddamn years, missing out on all her fucking kids and working her ass off and got stabbed the fuck up in the damn place. Ain't no way in the world I'm gonna sit there and just bury my mother with $12,000. I'm going for the gusto. I'm going for the gusto. She meant more, she sacrificed a lot. Yeah, I wanted to put her picture up. But this woman sacrificed a lot. And it ended so tragically. She's worth a whole lot more than damn $12,000. That's a damn disgrace. I said Jennifer has 6 kids, and while we don't know the ages of all of them, her oldest is 20 years old. That's old enough to work. At some point, we have to stop expecting parents to carry the full financial burden forever, especially after they're passed on. This is not about being heartless, it's about being honest. We all go through hard times. We go through some hardship. We do. And many people give because they genuinely care to give. But we also have to be careful not to be emotionally manipulated, especially in times like these when people are struggling just to get by. People struggling today to get by. You see how high food is, rent, mortgage. It's hard to even hold on. Everybody fighting to hold on to their job, dealing with all of the stress, not trying to get in nobody's way, even trying to come out alive now. Just going to work trying to come out alive without somebody crashing out. I says, let's hold corporations accountable. You know what I'm saying? Let's be wise about where our compassion and money go. A lot of times people ain't even looking at that. They're not looking at the compassion where their money is going. This Jennifer, this thing need to be taken down. I said, and I also said this about not to be, I said there should not be a GoFundMe. There shouldn't be a fundraiser for this matter. Jennifer dedicated 15 years of her life, her service as an employee. And it's the responsibility of McDonald's, along with the owner, Mr. Yusuf Audrey, to fully cover all funeral expenses and provide financial support to her family. The corporation and management must take accountability to ensure that the family receives the assistance they rightfully fucking deserve. Okay? I'm bringing the awareness. I'm advocating out here. I'm going on both ends about these black women and how they was wrong and how they was silent. You know what I'm saying? Because we allow this shit to go on, and I'm saying no more. That's why I've been going so hard about it. I said no more. This shouldn't happen no more. It's time to wake up, America, black America. It's time to wake the fuck up. I'm with reparations and all of that, but what are we going to do when we get the reparations? Are we going to invest the money back into the community, or are we just going to use it just to be one of the people that have the money and just want to just like everybody else? We're not going to all build together. Are we going to put certain things that resources and things in our community with the money? Are we going to put in things that in our education for our children in the community? Are we going to use the reparations for that? Are we going to use the reparations to have our own banks in the community? Are we going to use it for that? We're going to use it for education, for banking, for banks, for our own businesses, for the community. Own our own damn liquor stores, own our damn own farm with weed, like Jamal Bryant said. He said it. Jamal Bryant did tell us to get a farm and put some weed on it, and guess what? They just raided a whole goddamn farm of weed. Out there in Texas, I think it was in Texas or either California, all that weed. He said, yeah, one on black folks. He said it. Jamal Bryant did say it, and we all went crazy on him when he said that shit. Now to come to find out what he was talking about was revealed. It's a whole damn phone was raided with weed on it. With Mexicans. Mexicans. Said shit, we could own our own damn weed farm in America. And he was right. I could give Jamal Bryant that one as much as I go after. You know what? My next video gonna be on that one, y'all. So stay tuned. We gonna talk about that. But let's get this out of the way because I'm just trying to bring awareness about mental illness. Also bring awareness about the insurance that should be covering this mother for dying so tragically at work last Thursday. And these are my prayers being offered up to the family. And I'm praying that somebody would listen. And I'm praying that also somebody would share this information. I don't know about sharing my video, but I could say you could share this information that I'm sharing. I got it all on my community wall for somebody to read it and to pass it on. Whether somebody is liking, sharing, whatever, as long as people are getting this information, I'm putting this information out there to help somebody. So with that being said, y'all, God bless you. Your girl KC McDaniel, I love you. Have a wonderful and blessed Sunday night. And take care of yourself and each other. Peace.